All right, it's the 1st of May. It's a Thursday, and we have about 30 minutes to the NY Open. Just a second. Go to the charts in a bit. Let me just. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the calendar. Yeah. Okay, so today we have 8:30 a.m. EST. We've got unemployment claims, and then around 10 a.m. EST, we've got this manufacturing news. Um, it's after 2 hours after the NY Open, so it doesn't matter. But we're going to wait until 8:30 a.m. EST to look for any trades. We're not going to take any trades before that because it makes sense to wait when you have news just 30 minutes after the NY Open. It makes sense just to wait, right? Um, okay, so let's take a look at the daily chart. Now, this was the move that we've been anticipating over the last 3-4 days, right? In fact, since the almost, I think, since Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, we've been anticipating this move. Unfortunately, price came down. The move happened in the Asian session, right? So there was no way to get in on this trade, even though it was there was a high possibility of this trade playing out because we spoke about this on Wednesday. We spoke about it a lot on Thursday. The idea was to take sells. There was a setup towards the second half of the NY session, but it played out only in the Asian session today, right? At the Asian Open. So there was no real possibility. Just give me a second. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. There was no possibility of taking that trade, even though it worked. And it dropped, I think, 800 pips or so. Yeah, 700 plus pips, right? But the move started around here. We'll go into the lower time frames and take a look at that very quickly. I did share a trade idea yesterday for this. The trade idea did work out, but the big move happened only at the starting the Asian session today. Now, the reason for that, just give me a second. Yeah, the reason for that is that these big moves are driven by fundamentals, right? And it's to do entirely because of the trade war, right? It's either Russia, Ukraine, or it's a trade war. So whenever there is uncertainty, whenever there is no deal, right? If there is no deal with regards to China or Europe, no trade deal, then there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Gold pushes up. The moment there is a possibility of a deal or a good chance, uh, there can be a deal between China and the US dollar strengthens, right? And that's exactly what happened. Now, the Trump the Trump speech is happening around after NY close, right? So that's the Asian session, right? That's the Asian session because it's NY close. It's around 8 p.m., 7:30 p.m., 7 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. EST. That's when he makes these statements. He gives out, a press conference. It's late in the evening, NY time, right? So the move happens, unfortunately, in the Asian session. So there is no way to catch that move unless you're an Asian session trader and you're trading those hours. Then you can't take that trade. But that's exactly what happened today, right? So Asian session, this news came out. and gold did exactly what it would. We said it would do. We predicted it would do according to the technicals, right? That price has been ranging at a daily support level. When price ranges a lot at an area, it's very likely going to break. That's the high time frame analysis on the daily. If you look at the 4, we've watched the 4. We looked at the 4 in this area. Price had tapped this area, I think, 5 times. So the 6th time it came down, it just broke right through, right? But it needed some news event to drive that volume in, and that's exactly what happened with the Trump speech around 8 p.m. EST when he made the announcement. Price just plummeted down, right? Now we couldn't take that. There was no way to take the trade. I couldn't take the trade. I wasn't trading the Asian session, so there was no way to get in the movement. But price has now come. What's important to notice, price has come to a decision area again. We have a daily demand level. You have a rally, base rally. Now, is this level going to hold? Is the question, right? Is this level going to hold? We don't know. Let's see. There is a lot of bearish volume. Price is heavily bearish. We have we are trading below the weekly SR level, below 3230. We could break. We could have a pullback or to around 3230 or even higher, and then we could continue down. Right? We'll have to look at low time frame price action and structure, candle structure, to see are we going to react to this area and push back up, or are we going to pull back, right, and then continue down. So the pullback will look, there is no differentiation between a pullback and a reversal. They'll look the same because price is going to push up. But if price starts to create resistance at key areas, right, at a liquidity area, 30-minute resistance, 50-minute resistance, then that means price could be pushing back down, right? That would be the sign that price is pushing down, and this is not a reversal, it's a pullback. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please ask me again, please let me know in the chat and I'll explain it again later. Okay, let's go to our trading chart. Let's do a quick recap of the trade idea that I did give out. So I said price just pushed up. We tapped the liquidity candle. We just pushed straight up. There was no opportunity to buy here because this candle didn't pull back enough for us to buy. So there was no chance to buy. You can't buy just under this 2, 3. You can't buy under weekly SR level because you've got a weekly SR level right in front of you. So this was the area to buy, but price did not pull back there for us to buy. I said I gave out 2 trade ideas, right? They both were sells. I said wait for 30-minute resistance to be created around the London high, for price to tap the London high and close 30-minute candle to close below it, rejecting it. Or if price comes deeper, if it go above the liquidity candle, wait for price to close back for a 30-minute resistance to form and a 30-minute bearish candle to tradable bear candle to close back inside the liquidity candle, right? To take the trade. Now, what happened was price tapped this perfectly. You can see price tapped this 30-minute candle tap, closed bearish. So that's a tradable candle. This I wouldn't consider tradable candle because this has a lot more wick than body. This is more so a doji, and if this candle didn't tap this area, even though this one did. If this was a tradable candle, then you could have taken this trade. You could have taken the trade here, right? But even if you did take it here or here, it still worked. I mean, the setup worked, and I'll explain why. Now, this if you consider this as 30-minute resistance, because this tapped the London high and close below it. If you go down to the 15-minute time frame, right, this would be the highest high. This is how you would have to draw the fib, right? Or you can draw it based on this candle, because let's see, when did this candle close? This candle closed at 1830 IC market server time. So 1830, yeah, this was the close of the candle. This was the close of the candle. So you could have drawn it here. Yeah, this was the close of the 30-minute candle right here, right? So this candle broke this side, this candle broke this side. You could have drawn it like that. And perfect entry, optimal level, sniper level, stop loss could have been above the liquidity candle high or more aggressive stop loss could have been above the 30-minute candle high. That's exactly what I said, above the 30-minute candle high. That's more aggressive. Or you can place it above the liquidity candle high, and price just pushed down, right? We just pushed down from that sniper entry. We pushed down. This was the level we spoke about. We said price is going to come to 3230. Watch yesterday's analysis, the first 30 minutes. I explained everything. Price was heading towards 320. Why 3230? Why 3230? Because that's the decision level, right? That's daily demand. That's the decision level. That's where we're coming to, right? So that's where your TP would be. And that's a huge move, 820 pip move down, right? Unfortunate, couldn't take it because the move actually started in the Asian session. We just pushed down, and then in the Asian session, we just fell to 3230, okay? So that happens. It happens sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to come back, do the same thing, and look for trades according to your trade plan. Okay, so let's start work. Let's get to work. Let's get rid of all of this. Okay, so price is here, right? Price is already in demand at a liquidity candle that we had marked. This one, there's a 30-minute liquidity candle here that price is this one right here, right? This candle right here, the high of this is 3225.33, right? That's exactly where price is. Now the question is, are we going to go through it? And if we go through it, we're going to go through this one as well. I keep saying this. Whenever you have liquidity candles stacked up above each other like this, or below each other if it's supply, we're very likely going to push through both of them because price has tapped them on the way up already, right? You can see price has tapped it here, and then pushed up. So the liquidity level is already tapped. So this liquidity candle right here is drawn on the 15-minute time frame, right? That's the candle, has been tapped several times, 1, 2, 3 times. So we don't know if there is liquidity in here or not, but at least we can anticipate price to come to this level, which is about 170 pips away, right? And if you have a lot of bearish volume, then we can continue even further, go through the level and head to 3194. Let me just double check here if that's the level, 3194, yeah, 3194 and 3167. Now, let's take a quick look let's go back to the weekly, go upper time frame to the weekly here. On the weekly time frame, I keep saying this, each time frame, look at each time frame individually and what information it offers, right? On the weekly time frame, that's the decision area, right? Around 3086, that's the decision area. We've rejected 3500, right? Here, that's too expensive for gold. Could be heading towards 3086 or 3055, right? Could be heading down. That's a big move down. Now that's about 1,300, 1,314, about 1,350 pips away, right? Now that's the overall move on the weekly time frame. Now, is it going to come down in a straight line? No, maybe not, right? On the daily time frame, you'll have pullbacks. Price may react here or may react below this. There is a level here as well, 3167, push back up, then come down, right? All of that can happen. Okay, so let's start with where price is currently. Let's look at this area. The 4, we can tighten this area because prices come deep into it. We can tighten this area up. Yeah, so we are reacting to this candle, this demand zone right now, right? There is a rally, there is a drop, 2 basin candles and a rally. That's what price is reacting to. So we're going to adjust this zone. Let me get rid of this and redraw this. Just move this up. that? 3230 3194 3230 3194 65. Yeah. Okay. 410, close 411. Okay. Yeah, there is a liquidity candle here that I deleted. We just put that back on. Yeah, this one right here. That's the one car price is currently reacting to. Okay. I brought the 4-hour zone lower. Okay, here's what I did. The 4-hour zone was here. I brought it down lower because that's where this is where we are reacting to currently, right? We've come into that area. So it doesn't make sense keeping this zone anymore because we're reacting to this. This is a reaction of this. This is the source, rally-based rally. This is new demand created to that source, right? This is a reaction. This is a reaction to this, right? But price has now come into this zone. We have come below this, right? So it makes sense just to have that. We're breaking below this liquidity candle. Let's just go to the 30-minute time frame. The current low is 1062, and this low is 1003. Just about to break it. Yeah, we broke it. Okay. So now we can get rid of this. Price just broke this low. This doesn't make sense anymore. Okay. The 15-minute time frame, very bearish. That's the liquidity candle. Right? This is the liquidity candle. This is 118 pips. This is 130, right? That's a liquidity candle. The price is at right now. Now you got to remember that this is a reaction to this, right? So we can come to right through it. We're very, very bearish. We're heading straight down. We've gone over 830 pips today. We can continue a lot more. We can cross 1,000 pips today, easy. Let's extend these to the right. Okay. I just want to get the demand lines drawn, zones drawn because we're pushing down. Okay. Remember what I said, price can come through all these liquidity candles because they're all stacked one above the other, right? Except this one. These three are stacked one above the other. Price has tapped them on the way up, except this one. This one, there's a clean move up and there isn't a retracement yet. So we could come straight to 3135, right? If you have a pullback, that's a long way away, 715 pips away. So we should get a sell trade today. Um, okay, I think that's good enough. 500 pips. Maybe extend this as well. Okay. Okay, that's covered. We've covered about 1,000 pips to the downside. That's good enough. Let's look at supply. Got plenty of time for analysis today. Okay, here we have a clear drop, base drop here. Price is just falling, crashing. Yeah, I just wish I was part of this trade. I mean, this is a trade that I've been waiting for since I think Tuesday, but unfortunately, it started in the Asian session today. There's nothing much you can do about things like that, you know. It just the move happens. In 2026, the first Trump uh, 1.0 was in 2016, 2017. He's 2017. I think the trade was started 2017. Yeah, I think 2017. All his comments, his press conferences were around NY Open, NYC Open, right? So there was a lot of volume then during the NY sessions. Now there is volume, but this has happened before where he gives his speech towards the end of the NY session. And then the volume kicks in during the Asian Open. 174664. Okay, this is price has come past a weekly SR level. So we're going to go down to the lower time frames and take a look at this. Yes, we have supply here. There is a drop. These are all basin candles and there is a drop, right? Let's take a look at it on the 30-minute as well. Yeah. Maybe around there. Rally, basin candles, is all candles stacked together, and then the clean drop. So this high is 319, 012, 014, 012. Take this up here. Okay. You just have to be patient in situations like this. When the moves already happened in the Asian session, there is nothing you can do. You might not even get a trade today, right? Because prices moved 867. I mean, it can move 1,000 pips plus. It can move 1,100, 1,200 pips, but there has to be a pullback. Price is already moved. You need to have a pullback, create 30-minute resistance, and then price to come down to retest the current low, because we're just creating new lows right now, lower lows. Okay, let's take a look at this area on the 1 hour. Yeah, there is a zone there. Let's go down the 30-minute. Yeah, that's better. 5, 10, 6, 9. Yeah, that's good enough, I think. Yeah, that's good enough. We've covered a decent area. Let's take a look at this area as well. So rally, pacing candles, that would be the drop. Yeah, this would be considered the clean move out, outside 3,300, the move out, and this would be the base. So the high of this is 981, and this close is 175. 5981. Yeah, that is also on our supply. And now we can push this up. Get rid of this liquidity candle. Yeah. Okay. Good. 4-hour supply, 1-hour supply, 4-hour supply here, 1-hour supply here, 4-hour demand here, which price is in now, another 4-hour demand here, 4-hour demand here. That's a high liquidity zone. So is this one. So is this one. Right? Okay, so we have a few new zones here. We're going to take a look at them, but before we do that, let's take a look at this area. Yeah, we're already in the liquidity candle. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're already inside it. We've created 30-minute resistance. And we're pushing down. Okay. In case price pushes up to grab liquidity, which is 300 pips, I doubt it. Let's look for a liquidity candle in here. Right, let's look for a liquidity candle in here. On the largest candle would be this one. That's 133 pip candle. Let's start with that. One 113 pips. 09. Yeah, that's the candle. It's obvious. 15-minute. 256112. 256112. Okay, let's take a look at the zone above. The 4-hour supply zone here. The 1-hour, there is this candle. Let's start with that. Let's go to the 30-minute. It's that one right there. Let's look at the 15-minute. 131. Yeah, it'll be the 30-minute. We can bring it up here because price has tapped it on the way down. This high is 151. 134. 4. 256. Sorry. Okay. So whenever you have liquidity candles stacked up like this against each other, when it goes through one, it's going to go through the other, right? Let's take a quick look at this level. On the 1-hour, it's just one candle. On the 30-minute, we have this big one here. Let's start with that. It engulfs the entire zone. Let's look at the 15-minute. Yeah, that's the candle right there. It's pretty obvious on the 15-minute. The 5-minute, maybe go down one more time frame. Yeah, 15 is good. It covers the weekly SR level. 0.21445. 0.21445. Okay, that's good enough. I don't think we're going to come all the way up there. We're going to be pushing down. I just hope it won't be one of those situations where it's close your eyes and sell at the NY Open. One of those days where you just hit the sell button. Because we're very, very bearish. Look how far price is away from the EMAs, 325 pips away. Very bearish. Okay, let's take a quick look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. These are high liquidity zones. It's a given that these are high liquidity zones, right? Whenever price does this, a massive candle like this, you don't need to spend time to check if the zones that you drew on the 4-hour or the 1-hour are high liquidity zones. You don't need to do that because price has moved 900 pips down. Obviously, it's cut through a lot of demand on the left, right? So that is why I didn't waste time checking if these are high liquidity zones or not, right? They are, right? So I'm just going to label them because if price has gone through it, there is obviously a lot of demand to the left here, right? You'll see rally, base rally, base rally, rally, base rally, and price has gone through all of that. Okay, so that these are high liquidity zones. Okay, I'm not going to mark these. We'll look at these later on because the price is not going to push back 1,000 pips. Or it's not going to go the other way 1,000 pips today. We've broken below this area, so we're not going to go back up all the way. Right? We're at a decision area. We might have a pullback. We just need to see if we are going to get a reversal here or a pullback, right? If we begin to close below, which we are, right? If 30-minute candles start to close below this low, below this daily support, that means we're pushing down. So then that's a second way to know that it's going to be a pullback and not a reversal, right? The first way is I said when price pulls back up, wait for the 30-minute resistance or maybe even 15-minute resistance. If you see that and a tradable 15-minute candle close or a tradable 30-minute candle close, you can take the sells, and then you know that it is and if it works, if it starts to work, it's a pullback and not a reversal from here. The second method is if 30-minute candles start to close below daily support here, then you know that you're going to get a pullback and a continuation down, right? That's the second way. And that's exactly seems to be what's happening now. We've got that level. We put a price level there. The open is 1120 to 1120, right? Let's just put a marker there to right. That's daily support, right? To 1120. Open price the 3 to 1120. 3 to 1120, right? Now, if 30 minutes candles start to close below, which it is doing, look at that. 30-minute candle close below. This is very likely going to be a pullback and a continuation down, right? Okay, let's take a look at the Asian session. So just save this quickly. Let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Okay, that's the market open right here. Yeah, this will be the Asian high. All right. Okay, so the market opened around 32.89, right? And in the Asian session, so we had a massive push, 500 pip push down. London session about 200 pips, 500 pips down, and in the London session about 200 pips up. Okay, and we are reacting to the London low, and we're continuing down. Okay, let's take a closer look at what happened actually. Now we were very bearish, right? Price towards the to the very end of the NY session. Price, we saw the setup, 30-minute resistance formed here, right? And setup did work, but it was very late NY time, and price is pushing down, right? And the EMAs are below, so we tapped the EMAs, we continued down. The market opened here. The candle had already closed below 3289. The daily candle had closed below it. If you look at that, the daily candle closed below 3289. So this was the close, candle close, 50-minute candle close. The next one tapped 3289, created a liquidity candle, pushed down. We pulled back up to that liquidity candle, grabbed liquidity, created the Asian high, fell straight through. We didn't even retest this. 3265 straight through, continued down. We fell to 3250. Two levels, two liquidity levels, fell through two of them. That and that, 3250. Close below, then we retested 3250, created a liquidity candle here, formed the Asian low here, retested 3250, closed below, on the way down, created one more liquidity candle, closed below the Asian low, pushed back up into this liquidity candle and into the one above, tapped it, created the London high. On the way up, we created the London low. Then we closed above 3230, created the London high, came close below the Asian low, created 30-minute resistance right here. 12 IC market server time. There you go. Right? That's a perfect trade to take. 30-minute resistance and pushed all the way down after that. Right? 330 pips. Now, came straight through. We've closed below. We've tapped this area. Let's see if we have a zone here. The 1 hour. There is this 30 minutes. No. But we have a 30-minute candle close below. This is pre-NY. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. So 30-minute resistance is formed pre-NY. Okay? Clear 30-minute resistance. And we've closed below the daily support, 3211.20. We've tapped the liquidity candle. If we are going through this, we're going to go through this one as well, right? Very likely going to go this one and come down here. But there's a lot of liquidity levels to go through. 3,200, the liquidity candle, 3194, and then this liquidity candle. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels before we get to this demand here. Okay, 30-minute resistance is formed. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. This is 1415. We broke. This one broke this high. This is 14. This one broke this high. Are we going to get a pullback here? Maybe. Maybe. It's gone too far away. If price was here, maybe it's pushed far away from the candle, from resistance. We need a pullback. Yeah. Hmm. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for the 15-minute candle to close. That'll be the news candle. That'll be the candle before news. We'll wait for this candle. When this candle closes, that'll be the 30-minute candle as well, right? The 50-minute candle has closed a doji. We'll have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Maybe get a pullback. I don't know how far price can pull back. We're very bearish. I don't think we're going to pull back this much. I don't know. We're very bearish. The moves happen. We've moved almost 900 pips. What are we going to take out of a move that's already happened? You've got to just patiently wait. Sit on the sidelines. That's the best thing to do. Wait for price to pull back up. Create some sort of resistance and then wait for a tradable candle to close, back candle to close, and then take the sells. That's the only thing you can do in a situation like this. Price has moved too far away from the liquidity level. You can come back to this candle. I don't know if you're going to come back to this candle. No, that would be better. On the 1 hour, drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base in candles, and yeah, this close 663, 655. Yeah, we're coming through this we're very likely coming through this. There's a high possibility we're coming through this, but you can't sell inside a liquidity candle or demand. You need a pullback. We had a pullback yesterday, but there was no setup formed inside 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 our trading hours. At least inside the stream hours, there was no setup to take sells. We need a pullback. We're going to come through this. We're going to go through all of this. Is a reaction. I said this at the beginning. This is the source. This is a reaction. We're going to come through this, but you need a pullback to take the trade. And we can bring this down here to this demand, drop base rally, push up, because we're already very deep in the zone. If you look at the 1 hour, yeah, there is no base here. That's a better base. All the way down there. No. Yeah, here. Open 024. Okay, we are reacting to daily support. You can see that's why I put that line there. It's important 3 to 1120. We're trying to react to that. Mhm. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? Please feel free to drop a message in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer. Hmm. Yeah. We've tapped the liquidity candle several times, created 30-minute resistance several times, twice at least. Once, that's the London session, tapped the liquidity candle. Again, we tapped it. We've tapped it several times. We've created 30-minute resistance twice, right? So it doesn't need to come back to the liquidity candle. It can, but it doesn't need to. Price can just continue to drop. If it does, great. We can price comes back up. We wait for a 15-minute tradable back candle to close below 3230 or after the touch of the liquidity candle and take the trade down. This is the London low. Right, you got to keep in mind what happened yesterday. We had the London low, price closed above it and then continued high. So if you close above it, you can't buy because you've got price could continue higher just like it did yesterday, but you can't buy in it because you don't know when the reversal will happen. So you can't buy inside supply. You can't buy at a liquidity candle at a supply zone where a liquidity candle is at a supply zone. You can't buy in there. But if you come back up, begin to close above the London low, then we could be pushing further up. But you can't buy. Exactly what happened yesterday. You couldn't buy. There was supply right here. There was a liquidity candle right here. You couldn't buy. You had to wait for sells. You had to do nothing. Sit on the sidelines and wait for sells. And the setup happened, but it the move happened like Asian session. So it's very late into the NY session. If you were trading those hours, then great. Then you would have probably caught the trade. But if it's the first 2 3 hours of the NY Open or NYSE Open, then you wouldn't have seen this trade. Okay, 5 minutes more for news. We are getting a pullback. 30-minute candle is closing support from here. I don't want to take buys either from here on a pullback because On a day when prices moved 881 pips down in a single direction, in one direction, just one direction we've pushed. That's the open, that's the move down, right? Almost 900 pips. You don't want to take buys here. It's suicidal trying to take buys because price can go, just spike down and tap 3,200 and then it continue 3194 and continue to push down. So you don't want to take buys. You can't. I will not take buys on a day like this when price is well below the EMAs, this far below the EMAs, 250 pips below the EMAs, in a single directional move when price has made almost 900 pips. I'm not going to look to take buys here. I'm looking for sells, but I need to see price push back up, and it is coming up. Can take sells here. Let's see. Let's wait. Let's just wait. Wait for the candle to close. Wait for the candle to close. Just wait. If if this happens, if the 30-minute candle closes bullish, right? And then the next 15-minute candle closes bearish, then I'll take sells. Then I have candle closing in my direction, right? Then it makes sense to take sells. Right now we are very likely forming 30-minute support. I'm not buying on a heavy bearish trend like this. It makes no sense to buy when price is pushing down this much, right? Look at that move down all the way from here, 1,470 pips in 3 days. I'm not going to buy here, even though there is demand here. I'm not going to buy because we're very bearish. I'm looking for sells, but I need low time frame confirmation. We have 30-minute resistance form, which is great. Now, since the candle is closing bullish, 30-minute candle should be closing bullish. In 2 minutes, it's not going to go all the way down. It's very likely going to close bullish. We have to wait for the next 15-minute candle to close after this 30-minute candle closes. Just be patient. Yeah, see this candle right here. That's a signal. This 5-minute candle from the liquidity candle. For those who are scalpers and trading the 5-minute chart, that's what you look for from a liquidity candle. It's the same liquidity areas, right? You don't this works. If you watched my streams, if you've been on my streams, there are over 140 videos, I think, of my live streams. If you watch them and you're a scalper, then this is what you look for from any one of these liquidity levels. And then if you think, okay, what kind of candle? Why not this candle? No, you got to wait for a tradable bull candle to close. And if you're a scalper, that's on the 5-minute time frame. And what's a tradable bull candle? I'll show you. Let's just wait for news. I'll show that later on. Coming up. Yeah, 30-minute candle is closing bullish with no top wick. Very likely no top wick. Can price come above this, above 3227? It would be great if price can do that. Yeah, no top wick. For pushing, should push up a bit more. What's the news? What are the numbers? It's bad numbers. Yeah, they were expecting bad numbers. It was worse. It was worse than what they were expecting. So price is pushing up. They were expecting 224, 241. Bad numbers. That's bad for the US dollar. So price is pushing up. How far is it pushing up? They were pushing up. Gotta wait for the 50-minute candle to close. Yeah, pushing back up. Hmm. It's gotta wait. Very similar to what happened yesterday. Very similar. Very similar. 30-minute candle tap liquidity. This candle tapped the liquidity level, closed above the London low, pushed straight up. No pullback to enter, but this was a range in market. So there was we could have taken buys. There was no pullback to enter. This is not a range in market. Let's just have to wait. If we close above the London low, then we're continuing higher. There is no sign of price pushing down right now. Is price gonna come back up here, tap this liquidity area? Very possible. We break this high, tap the liquidity area, then we get a reaction. Maybe a 30-minute resistance forms and a tradable 30-minute back candle closes back below the London low, and then we come down. That's very possible. It's about 90 pips away. Yeah, 80, 85 pips away. Got to wait for this 15-minute candle to close. Very likely going to close above the London low. Then we have to wait for the next one. If the next one closes back below the London low, that's the signal for the sells. This is very likely going to close above the London low. Yeah, pushing up, should close above the London low. So should break this high as well. Probably coming here to 3230. Yeah, there we go. Broke the high. Get rid of that. This one broke this high. This has to close above. This one must close above the London low. Then for sells to work, the next one must close back below. It would be better if we tap 3230 and then, or tap the liquidated candle and then close below. That's when you want to take sells. Yeah, so we closed above. See if this 15-minute candle closes back below. This should break this high. Yeah, we should break the high. Break the high. Then come down maybe. Yeah, there we go. Broke the high. Tap 3000 230. Very, very similar to yesterday. Very similar to yesterday. NY open, push straight up. Pushed up 525 pips. And that came all the way down 1,100 and over 1,100 pips. We've already pushed up 285 pips since NY open. Is there another Trump speech scheduled? No. Tomorrow is NFP. It's not these news events that's driving price. We've been speaking about this. It's the news about the tariffs. Mm. 15-minute candle needs to close back below the London low. All right, we said that it'll tap here. It did, but it needs to close bearish below the London low. Tradable back candle needs to close to take the sells to come down. If it doesn't, then we're pushing further up. We've tapped one liquidity level. What's the next one? The liquidity candle. What's the one inside that? The EMA, right? And then further up 3250. Probably coming down to create a bottom wick before pushing higher. Yeah, doesn't seem like we're closing below. Pushing up. There's nothing to do here. Yeah, it's a doji. There's no sign of bearish volume yet. Nothing. Absolutely no sign of bearish volume. You need candles like this, 5-minute candles like this, to show bearish volume. Because once you start seeing a couple of these, then the 15-minute candle will close bearish. But right now there is nothing. The 5-minute candles are all closing bullish or a doji. Yesterday was a day of patience. Seems like today is also going to be a day of patience. Just the markets test your patience, your ability to just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. Yeah, 50-minute candle should close bullish. We're continuing higher, probably coming to the EMA. Yeah, very similar to yesterday. Maybe a rejection of the London high again, like yesterday, to come down. We're closing above the London low, beginning to close above with no pullback. Exactly a copy of what happened yesterday. Closed above the London low, no pullback, continued higher. Same thing. Closing above the London low, pushing up, no pullback. Mm, nothing. No sells. Absolutely no sells. I'm pushing further. Tap the liquidity candle now. That's the second liquidity level, 3230. Now the liquidity candle. Hmm. Yeah. This is deja vu. Yeah. We're pushing up. 30-minute candle is going to close above the London low. Once we do that, we're going to push up straight to the London high. Then we'll have to see what price does at 3250. Yeah, we're very likely going to close above. 30-minute candle is pushing straight up. No pullback. See this? 30-minute candle closed, support formed, 30-minute candle closed here, support formed, 30-minute candle closed here, support formed, 30-minute candle closed here, no pullback, straight up. That was a 500 pip move up, 300 pips already. We're going probably higher, yeah, easily heading towards the London high. If we close above, the 30-minute candle closes above the London low, we're pushing up to the London high and then 3250. Nothing. Okay, I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Nothing's happening so far. There are no trades. I've not taken any trades. There is no sign of any trade, any sells right now of this candle or the close of this candle. The candle is closing bullish. The 30-minute candle is very likely closing above the London. That's what you need to watch now. You need to watch the 30-minute time frame, what the 30-minute time frame does. If the 30-minute candle closes above the London high, the London low, we're very likely heading higher, right? Uh, because now, once we close, if we close 2 minutes more, once we close above the London low, you want a 30-minute back candle, not a 15-minute anymore. You want a 30-minute back candle to close back below the London low to continue down. And a tradable, it has to be a tradable 30-minute back candle close. Yeah, no top wick, pushing up. Yeah, I don't like this price action at all. This is just a lot of range, ugly. Price can easily come above this. It's no top wick on this candle. Easily come up here above this. Once it comes above, we're heading toward the London high and then 3250. Yeah, 30-minute. I'm going to wait for the 30-minute candle close. Closing a doji. Nothing, no information. Closing a doji. So far, we're just pushing up. Yeah, 30-minute candle is closing above the London low. Yeah, closed above the London low. It's nothing to do. 15-minute candle close a doji. 5-minute, yeah, it's nothing. It means nothing. This 5-minute candle means nothing. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to be here. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to be here for 30 minutes. I don't think we're going to get a trade today, just like yesterday. Price has moved. I said this at the beginning. The move happened. This was the move that we were waiting for. It happened before NY opened. Price moved 1,000 pips. That was the move that we anticipated. From up here to 3230. It happened at a time that outside of NY hours and moved 1,000 pips. There's nothing you can do about it. Mm. Okay. We're back in about 2-3 minutes, and then we'll take a look at maybe how the. I'll be here for another until NYC open, but I don't think we're going to get a trade. We're very likely pushing higher. We've closed above. We've formed support, no pullback, closed above the London low, tapped 3230, tapped the liquidity candle. If it found enough liquidity here, you wouldn't have seen a candle like this. This is an indecision candle, right? If it found enough liquidity here, that would have been a bearish candle close and a 15-minute back candle close, and you could have seen the next 15-minute candle also close bearish, right? But we've closed the doji, which means very likely we're going to push back up back to 3230 and back to the liquidity candle. There's probably a pullback to create a bottom wick before we push up. No top wick on the candle yet. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes. Yes, we're still creating a bottom wick to probably push up. Still no top wick. Hmm. Yeah. It's got to wait for the candle to close. Can't do anything until the candle closes. Three and a half minutes. Let's see how the candle closes. We're trying to close back above the London low. Yeah, that may be a pullback to continue higher. Yeah, we're coming probably here. Yeah, back to the Asian low, at least to the Asian low. Coming to the Asian low. Very likely coming to the Asian low. Yeah, that was the bottom wick. Price to continue higher. But probably coming here. Let me put a marker there. 36.64. 36.64. See what is at that level. Yeah. Yeah, above these. Yeah, that's where we're coming. We're coming above these. 36.64. Is there a 131? Mm-hmm. Probably this candle right here. Yeah, coming higher. Above these highs. To the EMA. But let's see. Once we get there. Maybe even up here to the London high. And then we see what happens. Very similar to, so it's just a copy of what exactly happened yesterday. Came to the London high, and then we just rejected and just ranged. We moved sideways for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 5 hours. 5 hours we moved sideways. And then this candle closed below 3,300. It's very late, very, very late, very late. That was the candle that closed below and then just continued after that. We just ranged for 5 hours after we we tapped the London high. This candle tapped the London high. Yeah, this was the Asian high. Yeah, this was the London high. Right here. Price tapped it and ranged for 5 hours and then pushed down. We are on the way up there, heading towards the London high. I'm going to be here for another maybe 5 minutes and then call it a day. There's nothing to do. Yesterday, today, nothing. There's no move, no setup. The move is there, volume is there, no setup for the NY session. At least for the first couple of hours of the NY Open, there's no setup. I have close bullish, trying to push back up. $30-minute candle is very likely going to close a doji. And then the next one will break the high and continue higher. 15-minute candle closed bullish, strong bullish. 5-minute candle Strong bullish engulfing candle, indication that we're pushing up. Two, 6, 5. So 30-minute candle closing, trying to close back below. Hmm. 114, low 109. Broke the 15-minute low. So there's a long time for the candle to close. Can push back up and close bullish. Yeah, be here for another 5 minutes. There's nothing happening. 15-minute candle needs to close back below the London low for us to consider 30-minute candle closed above. You need a 15-minute candle close back below, at least a 15-minute candle close back below, to take the sales to come down to 3,200. It's a decent move down. It's about a 225 pip move down, but the 15-minute candle needs to close below. Right now, there is nothing. Hmm. Yeah, 4 minutes more. Let's see. I'll wait for the 15-minute candle to close, then end the stream. Right now, so far, there is nothing. There is no confirmation for sales because this candle is not hasn't closed yet, and it can close above the London low, or it can close below the London low, or it can even close bullish above 3230. So you got to wait for the candle to close. There's nothing you can do. You just have to wait. And if it closes below, then you can take sells. On the pullback, wait for price to pull back a bit. That's where you want to manage risk. 3230 is where you want to manage risk. And your TP is around 3,200 and lower, 3194, 3,200, 3194. Yeah, about 300 pips. 350. It's got to wait for the candle to close. Because if the 15-minute candle closes below this, that means the 30-minute candle is also closing below the London low. That was the initial idea, right? That if a candle closes above, then a candle needs to close back below. So you got another 3 minutes, you got to wait for the candle to close. Needs to close below. It's pushing back up, trying to close back above, maybe flip bullish and go further up. Yeah, 2 minutes more. It's unlikely that it's going to close below. We're closing back above, very likely closing a doji or going to close bullish. So there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. Just don't do anything. Yeah, we're closing bullish. Yeah, we're closing back bullish. 30-minute candle is closing bullish. There's nothing to do. Don't do anything. No sells. Closing bullish. above the London low. Second candle closing above the London low. 30-minute bullish candle closing above the London low. A minute more. Yeah, there's nothing to do. No, no buys, no sells. Let's see if you can closing a doji. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we closed a doji. 30-minute candle closed a doji above the London low. There's nothing to do. We should be heading higher. Probably a pullback here. Yeah, there's yeah, this is not clean price action to take a trade. Gotta wait for a 15-minute candle to close below, back below this, the London low. 15-minute candle has closed, but that's a doji. I mean, it's pushing up. It's a very weak bearish candle. You want a 15-minute candle close back below the London low to take sells to come down to 3,200 and 3,194. Until then, there's nothing you can do. All right, that's the end of the stream. It's just like yesterday, we're pushing up. I think we're pushing, very likely we're going to push up. Yeah, we've already pushed up 300 pips. Could continue higher. We're pushing up. Look at that. Bear candle, 1 minute, then straight up, straight up. This is what happens when the high time frames don't give you confirmation. This is exactly what happens on the low time frames. The low time frames continue the direction, right? If a 30-minute candle needed to close back below to continue down. All right, that'll be the end of the streams. It's the move. I said this at the beginning. The move has happened for the day, right? We've moved 800 pips, 900 pips almost. So just got to be careful to take those sells. It's only sells. There are no buys, but you need to wait for confirmation. You need to wait for at least a 15-minute back candle to close back below the London low, and then you can take the trade. Until then, don't do anything. All right? Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. See you tomorrow, uh, 7:30 a.m. EST. We'll do our prep work and see if you have a trade for NFP. Right now, again, remember, um, NFP may not do much because price is driven by the trade wars right now, right? So NFP might be it could be a big move or it might be a very disappointing move. You got to be ready for both scenarios, right? Because there's something bigger. Look at that. Look how price is pulling back. Look at that 1 minute candle. Price pushed down, immediately pushed back up, and is trying to head up. Because the 30-minute candle has closed indecision candle. There is no information in that candle. We broken the low. We can break the high now and continue much higher. Okay. Once we break this high, we should break this high, and then we should go higher. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. We should break this high, then we're heading higher. Don't try to buy here because there's supply, because you don't know when price will, reverse. But we should be heading to 323664, at least there, and maybe higher than that to the London high after that. So as I said, NFP may or may not bring volume tomorrow because price is driven by uh, the tariff news and not by these news events by CPI or NFP, right? So just be careful. It's been a week of a testing week. Test your patience because you just have to wait. The moves have happened outside of NY hours, NY open hours, so you just have to be patient and wait for moves to start happening inside NY hours where you can take trades, where you see something that you recognize and can take trades. Until then, just wait. All right, take care. See you tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST. See ya.